Call Alal Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahweh Shai Ba'Shem Rakakwadash. This is Malak Magania from GMS Toronto, GMS Toronto 2, and GMS Wisdom and GMS Magania. Those are my channel, those two. Still giving all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahweh Shai. I want to say also double honors to the apostles and elders who rule well in spirit and in truth in the time of Bible prophecy, fulfilling right before our eyes, and to the men and women, the elders, men and women, and their families that make up the hopeful elect. Again, as you can clearly see here by the headlines, prophecy is right in the headlines. And for you who are not skilled, I will break this down, this headline right here. Okay, so you can understand what this headline is. So it says here, retired General Hiller receives $20,000 a month to head vaccine distribution task force. Okay, the word here, the active word here is task force. So this is the Army, the Canadian Army, the Canadian Armed Forces. That's who's coming in to keep the peace. Because if they didn't need an army, then it would be a peaceful thing if they didn't need an army. And I'm going to get into the word task force, right? So Ford government prepared to extend this contract, all right? Interestingly enough, this guy was born in 1955, just like Bill Gates. Okay, so that type of group, that type of old boys group, you can check it. You don't have to believe me, right? But this is not just mere coincidences. This is providential. These people are back here again doing what they do. Okay? They're here back, they're here again to do what the Lord has appointed, not anoint, but appoint them to do on the systems that they work for. Okay, and so, like I said, if you can't see it, that's too bad. But before I get into the prophetic side of things, I'm going to break down this task force for you to understand. Okay, and so let's go to the word task. All right, now let me be clear. The Army, I should say this task force, the Canadian task force that's going to help to get these vaccines or maxines, whatever you want to call them, instituted, they are there to keep the peace, correct? All right, and make sure people don't get out of order. All right, so we're going to see if this is a bunch of lambs or if these are a bunch of dragons. I'm going to say that word. Right, but let's go over to the word task. All right, task, to impose a task, right, and that's the 1590s. To burden, put a strain upon, from task, related, task, tasking. Okay, task, a quantity of labor imposed as a duty. Right? Duty tax, from vulgar Latin. Duty assessment. Okay? Let's see here. The Latin, to evaluate, estimate, assesses, general sense of any piece of work that has to be done is first recorded. Okay? Preserve the sense that is closer to tax. So, hey, we've got all the words of what task means. I'm going to read all of them for those who have the patience. But then again, I'm not going to read all of them, because you can find this for yourself, right? Because just in case they say, it's a general sense of any piece of work that has to be done. right? It's a task. Yeah, that's also part of it. Okay. That's also part of it. Now, force, the word force, right? 1300, physical strength. Okay. From the old French force, strength, courage, fortitude, violence, power, compulsion. From the vulgar Latin, fortia, sources also, Old Spanish, forza, Spanish, foruza, Italian forza, noun use of nuclear plural, Latin, fortis, right? Strong, mighty, firm, steadfast, brave, bold. Okay, meanings, power to convince the mind and power exerted against will or consent are from mid 14C, meaning body of armed men, a military organization first recorded late 14C, also in Old French. Physicist, sense is from 1660s. Force field, attested by 1920. Related forces. Okay, so that's what the Canadian task force appointed by Ford government. I guess they're his boss. I was looking for that. Okay, I don't know when this leader of defense is going to be turning 66 years old, but it's interesting. Probably next year, because I searched diligently to find out when this man was born, and they wouldn't give me the month. Right? I don't know why these guys are so secretive about these things. But anyway, it's his own prerogative. But that doesn't matter, okay? Because I like to be clear on what I'm saying. So yes. Now I'm going to go quick into it. All right. So let's go to what an army is. I'm going to show you what it is in the Bible. Okay, real quick. All right. So the first precept that I'm going to show you, there's two precepts in the Bible. And Yahushua, who the world ignorantly calls Jesus Christ, he was giving a conversation and he was making a statement. Right? He was asked a question. All right. So Matthew 24 and 15. It says, when you therefore see the abomination of desolation, spoken of by Daniel the prophet, stand in the holy place. Whoso readeth, let him understand. Okay? So that's what it is. So the abomination of desolation, I'm going to be very clear, is when an army is in presence. So that army can do good, or it can do evil, or it can bring force, just like what I read for you in task force. Okay, it can do those things if things get out of order. But basically, they're there to keep the peace. So we're going to see if this is what this is about very soon. So I'm not trying to say that they're there to kill people, but we're going to see which role they play. If they're going to play the role of physical strength, steadfastness, what else? What you got here? Meanings of power, being strong and mighty, being firm, being steadfast, being brave and bold, right? With physical strength. We're going to see if that's the case, or if they'll be moving like lambs to help the people, or if people do not want to, if people are resisting the vaccines, if they're going to get forceful on them. Okay, so we're going to wait and see what happens. So the abomination of desolation represents the army, right? Well, like I said, that's what it is. Okay, so the scriptures could never be broken, and this is over 2,000 years ago, so the language would be this for army. Okay, if you can understand that. And then it said there again in Mark 13 and verse 14, when ye shall therefore see the abomination of desolation spoken of by Daniel the prophet, standing where he ought not, let him that read it get understanding. So get understanding with what is going on with the COVID and with all of this, because not everybody is going to want to take this vaccine. So let's see what happens. Let's see how the Herculean military, along with the government that pays the military, okay, deals with the situation. Then let him that day in Judea flee to the mountains. Anyway, just wanted to bring out what the abomination of desolation is. So it's the armies. Let's understand that. Doesn't matter what kind of army it is. It could be either for good or for evil. But according to scripture here, this had nothing to do with doing good. These two scriptures that I read. So let's see if the Canadian Armed Forces is about being good. Okay? We'll see. All right. So pretty much my video is about over, but I could read, like I said, every word that these people say, it's prophetic. Right? So that's all I've got. Those are my points for this scripture. So what else? We're in the time. We're in the time of the mark of the beast. Revelation 13:15 to 17. All right. I should say read from the 13th verse to the around the 16th verse. All right. Or you could read to the end of the chapter, and that very much gives you the picture of what is going on. And that's not just in Canada. Right? That's also in America. In America, they have the troops already in the streets with checkpoints. So I expect that after this vaccine, this Herculean effort, I expect also troops are going to be on our streets in Ontario to keep the peace or to task the force. Like it says like the headline here, task the force. Okay? And it says Ford government prepared to extend his contract. So it's not a one-time thing. All right. So anyway, let me leave it at that. Like I said, prophecies are right in the headlines of almost every news that has to do with COVID-19 and the vaccines and digital artificial insemination, if I may use those words. All right. So with that, I'm going to say shalom. Hopefully this lesson was edifying. You get the meaning of what's going on, prophecy fulfilling right in these headlines, right on every side and on every level and in every country, right? And we're here in Canada. So with that, I'm going to say shalom. Till the next time.